Hey everybody, and welcome to the party. So I just wanted to share with you guys a quick story about how Pampered Chef came into my life. I wasn't really interested in cooking as a kid. My mom was a magician in the kitchen. She obviously didn't need my help. I was usually outside, or, I started working at a young age and I had orchestra. And if I was home, I usually had my face in a book until she yelled, "Dinner's ready." So I didn't really, have the whole home ec gene, as I like to call it. And when I got my first apartment, it was a real rude awakening. I couldn't cook to save my life, and I had gone to Bradley's. So if you're in New England and, you remember Bradley's, and bought the cheapest kitchen stuff I could have because it was my first apartment and I was on a budget. And I bought knives, and I thought they were good knives. I didn't know any better. And I actually kept one, and I'm so glad that I did because it really makes for a good story now. But so these were the knives that I had. So you can tell, it's covered in rust, so I obviously don't use it. Just a plastic handle, but more importantly, can you see that? So now, have you ever tried cutting a potato with a knife that bends? It reduced me to tears. It was exhausting, and I thought I would never be able to cook. And I was in that apartment for 6 years. And in that time, I only cooked something that either came out of a box or came out of the freezer and could be cooked on the stove or in the microwave. The options were limited. It was mostly just spaghetti, mac and cheese, pastas of that sort, or a lot of takeout. So when my husband and I bought our first home, this home here, we've been here since 2006, I decided I wanted to learn to cook. And we both kind of laughed at it because I have been known to set off the smoke detectors boiling a pot of water. And that is a true story. Granted, there was something on the burner, but he has never let me live that down. But I decided, I wanted to learn to cook, and I had also wanted to have a housewarming party, and he wasn't really interested in that. And it's kind of silly to just have me having a housewarming party with him not home. So I said, well, I'm going to have a Pampered Chef party. And he said, oh, a what? And I said, a Pampered Chef party. It's cooking stuff. And he goes, but you can't cook. I said, exactly. I want to learn how to. And I just found a random consultant, and she came over my house, and we actually had a really good time. And I got a lot of free and discounted products. And one of the first things that I added to my cart was the 5-inch utility knife. Now this isn't the original utility knife that I got. I have since donated all of my original Pampered Chef knives to my mother, along with my knife block, because I earned the new set for free. But I ordered the utility knife. Now, this is our forged cutlery. And as you can see, my hands, this isn't moving. This is German forged steel, and the steel runs through the length of the blade. So it's balanced, but it's also meant to be held for both lefties and righties. Doris Christopher, our founder, is a lefty. So she makes sure that, the majority of our tools are comfortable, regardless of how you hold them, which I think is a really neat thing. But the first time, when I first got all my products and I was unboxing them, I just wanted to try to cook everything, but mostly I wanted to make my mom's mashed potatoes. So I grabbed my new Pampered Chef vegetable peeler, and I was so excited peeling those potatoes because that vegetable peeler is phenomenal. And I feel like it doesn't get the respect that it deserves. But then the first time I cut through the potato, I yelled to my husband, "Jay, get in here, get in here." The poor guy, he knew I was cutting potatoes. He must have thought I had cut my finger off the way I was yelling. So he comes bolting into the kitchen. He's like, "What's the matter?" I said, "Look at this." And I just went through the potato, and he's like, "You have got to be kidding me. You scared the daylights out of me." And I apologize, but I was so excited. And from then on there, I just, kept trying new things and playing with all these different stones. And I was so excited to even just make a frozen pizza and how different it tasted. And he noticed a difference. And he noticed a difference in my confidence, which I hadn't noticed. But a couple months later, my sister had a Pampered Chef party with another consultant, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get more stuff. So I went to her party, and the consultant at her party is to this day one of my dearest friends, and she's also my director. I joined her team back in 2007. And I learned to cook in other people's kitchens. I love a challenge, and there is nothing more challenging or more terrifying than standing in someone else's kitchen making a recipe that you've never made before. But I had such a great time doing it. And in 2009, I hung up my apron to go back to school, get married, do all that stuff, and I got my bachelor's degree, and I continued to host with Jennifer, who was my director, once a year to keep the obsession alive. And as you can see from this mess behind me, which I keep saying I need to fix, but as you can see from the mess behind me, I have a lot, and that's just my overflow. That's the stuff that doesn't fit in my cupboards. But I absolutely, truly love the products, but I also love what they've done for me in the kitchen. I save time. I have fun doing it. I love to bake. I like to cook. I don't love to cook. I would much rather be, baking than cooking a meal. But I have so much fun in the kitchen. And this past year, it was last August, she said to me at my annual show, girl, why aren't you on my team again? You're practically running your own party. And so I talked to my husband, and he said, she's right. Why aren't you selling it anymore? So I rejoined the team, and I've been having a blast ever since. I've earned a ton of products for free and at a discount. But I've met so many wonderful people since I've started again. And I say met in italics because I do mostly virtual. I do mostly videos from my kitchen or from here in my home office / dining room. And I have a blast doing it. But I wanted to share with you my bendy knife story. And, just kind of say that it really is true that, the tools make the chef, the tools make the cook, and having the proper tools in the kitchen really do make all of the difference in the world. So I hope you guys have a wonderful time this week, and I'm so excited to share with you some of my favorite, tips, tricks, and recipes. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me, and I will see you guys.